He was smiling on the phone with his mother. He was preparing for a tour that could redefine his career. He was proud of Swimming, an album critics described as the most mature work of his life. To everyone around him, Mac Miller looked like a man finally stepping into the light after years of fighting the shadows. But what nobody knew is that the countdown had already begun. This is the complete reconstruction of the final 61 hours of Mac Miller's life. Every message, every decision, every minute that unknowingly pushed him closer to the moment he would never wake up. No fiction, no myths, only the real events. Exactly as they happened. Los Angeles, a late summer night. Mac is inside a Hollywood recording studio, finishing ideas, polishing details, and doing what he loved the most, creating. At exactly 11:07 p.m., he reaches for his phone and sends a short message to his dealer, Cameron Pettit. Yo, what's up? He wants a few things to get through the night. Adderall, maybe lean, maybe Percocet. Cameron answers quickly. He doesn't have everything, but he promises he can get it. He offers something else. Blue 30s, oxycodone pills labeled 30 milligrams. They agree on a time, 1 a.m. Place, a well-known studio on St. Andrew's Place near Hollywood. But the plan will not unfold the way either of them imagined. Mac waits. 5 minutes pass. 10, then 20. Still nothing. He sends a message. Yo. No answer. A few more minutes. Where you at? Silence. Then just a single question mark. Still nothing. And this is the moment where the timeline quietly shifts into dangerous territory. Mac decides to reach out to someone else, Mia Johansson, a woman connected to Cameron's circle. She replies immediately. Her tone is casual. She says she has everything he needs. She lists it. Oxycodone, bars, Norco, Adderall, and a gram of cocaine. 30-minute delivery. No hesitation. No red flags. Mac agrees. Mia says the delivery will be done by a woman named Carla. Meanwhile, as Carla is already driving through Los Angeles to deliver the drugs, Cameron finally answers. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Coming now. 2 deliveries, 2 sources, 2 paths colliding into the same point. Neither Mac nor the people driving toward him understand that one of these paths carries counterfeit pills mixed with something exponentially more deadly. Fentanyl. At 2:25 a.m., Cameron arrives at the studio and texts, here. 5 minutes later, Carla arrives too. 2 suppliers, one after the other, on the same night. Mac receives everything without any apparent concern. For him, this is routine. Countless artists, producers, and professionals in the industry rely on substances to push through long studio nights. Nothing feels unusual. What no one knows is that inside one of those deliveries, there are pills pressed to look like oxycodone, but containing fentanyl, a synthetic opioid up to 50 times stronger than heroin. Mac keeps working. Carla remains with him. They talk while he writes, records, and listens back to tracks. She was supposed to stay for 2 hours. She stays for 5. By the time Mac looks at the clock, it is already 7 a.m. He pays her $3,000 for the time, plus $325 for the substances. This will be the last morning anyone sees him alive. The next 2 days look normal. Mac wakes up, works, makes calls, listens to music. He talks to his mother. He watches football the night before he dies. Every detail witnessed by the people close to him reflects the same impression. He was in a good mood. He was stable. He was excited about the future. But underneath that apparent stability, something was quietly eroding. His assistant, the last person to see him alive, notices changes. Mac had been on and off drugs for years, but recently the binges had become harder. A mix of stimulants, depressants, painkillers, and alcohol. A cycle that wears down the body without warning. Inside his home, hidden in the pocket of a jacket hanging in his bathroom closet, are pills stamped V4812. They look like legitimate oxycodone. They are not. They contain fentanyl, the equivalent of a pinch of salt capable of shutting down a human body in minutes. Mac doesn't know this. No one around him knows this. And the countdown continues. The morning is quiet. Los Angeles sunlight creeps into the windows of Mac's Studio City home. His assistant walks toward his bedroom to wake him. The door is half open. The room is still. Mac is lying in bed, motionless. The assistant calls his name. No answer. He tries to shake him. Nothing. He calls 911 with panic in his voice. Operators attempt to guide him through CPR. Paramedics rush to the house. 16 minutes later, the declaration is made. Mac Miller is gone. He was 26 years old. The world will not know why until the autopsy comes back, and when it does, every detail leads back to the decisions made during those final 61 hours. The autopsy results arrive like a cold wave sweeping through Los Angeles. Inside the official documentation from the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner, one line stands out above everything else. Death certified as accidental, mixed drug toxicity. 3 substances, each one dangerous on its own, together lethal. The toxicology panel reveals fentanyl, cocaine, alcohol. The forensic interpretation is devastating. Cocaine accelerates the body, raising heart rate, temperature, and stimulation. Alcohol slows the central nervous system, lowering reflexes and respiratory drive. But fentanyl is something else entirely. It is a synthetic opioid up to 50 times stronger than heroin, capable of shutting down the respiratory system with an amount comparable to a few grains of salt. Inside Mac's bloodstream, the levels of fentanyl are strong enough to stop breathing in minutes, or even seconds. The coroner finds additional evidence inside the room. A $20 bill with white residue, an empty liquor bottle, small bags containing powder, prescription bottles, and inside a coat pocket hanging in the bathroom closet, the most critical discovery of all. 6 counterfeit oxycodone pills marked V4812. At first glance, they look legitimate. Their shape, their color, their stamp, all imitation. But when tested, they contain 0 oxycodone. Instead, they contain fentanyl. The investigation now has a clear direction. These counterfeit pills are not just dangerous, they are fatal. And someone sold them to Mac Miller less than 48 hours before he died. Once the autopsy confirms fentanyl, federal agents and Los Angeles investigators begin reconstructing the timeline backward. Which delivery contained the counterfeit pills? Was it the one from Mia Johansson's contact, Carla, or the one from Cameron Pettit? The text messages recovered from Mac's phone revealed the crucial detail. During the conversation on September 4th, Cameron specifically says he can bring blues, which is slang for oxycodone 30 milligram pills. The pills found in Mac's house match that description, the fake blue 30s. Investigators trace the counterfeit tablets back to Cameron Pettit. Then they trace Cameron's supply line back another step, to a man named Stephen Walter, a 46-year-old with a long criminal background. Walter, in turn, uses an associate, Ryan Revis, a 36-year-old man who handles deliveries and transportation. Walter supplies, Revis delivers, Pettit sells, Mac receives. A perfect line, a perfect chain, a perfect recipe for tragedy. But the most disturbing part is not how the pills were made. It is what the men behind them already knew. When investigators access text messages between the 3 suspects, a chilling pattern emerges. Ryan Revis, the delivery man, sends a message to someone weeks before Mac's death. People have been dying from fake blues left and right. Law enforcement is using informants to buy them so they can put people away for life. He knew the pills were killing people. He knew they were deadly. He knew what the risks were. And yet, he kept delivering them. Even more shocking, Cameron Pettit, the dealer who sold the pills directly to Mac, continues selling counterfeit pills after Mac's death. Not days later, not months later, but for almost 10 entire months. 10 months of distributing counterfeit opioids across California, even after someone he personally knew had died from them. But the moment the news breaks publicly, Cameron panics. He messages a woman on Instagram, "Most likely I'll die in jail. I'm going off the grid. What should my new name be?" He jokes about fleeing the country. He posts a smiling photo on Instagram as if nothing is wrong. But the law is already closing in. On September 4th of 2019, exactly 1 year to the day after Mac Miller received the fatal pills, federal agents move in. 3 men are arrested. 1, Stephen Walter, the supplier. He pleads guilty to distributing fentanyl. The judge sentences him to 17.5 years in federal prison. 2, Ryan Revis, the middleman who delivered the pills. He pleads guilty as well. His sentence, 131 months. 3, Cameron Pettit, the dealer who sold the counterfeit oxycodone directly to Mac Miller. He pleads not guilty. At the time of this documentary, he still awaits sentencing. The U.S. Attorney's Office releases a statement. These defendants continued to sell narcotics after Mr. McCormick's death, fully aware of the danger their products posed to human life. The message is clear. Mac Miller's death was not a distant accident. It was the result of decisions, conscious, deliberate, and repeated, made by people who knew their product was deadly. Mac Miller was more than his struggles. He was a musician who reinvented himself constantly, refusing to be boxed into one sound. He sang, he rapped, he produced, he experimented, he created music that felt fragile and human. Because he was fragile and human. His album Swimming still echoes with meaning after his passing. Its themes, healing, introspection, self-acceptance, became even more powerful in hindsight. And yet, his story now carries a painful reminder. In the modern drug landscape, one pill can end everything. A counterfeit opioid can look identical to the real thing. A grain of fentanyl can stop a heart. Mac's death became a symbol, not of scandal, not of headlines, but of a crisis sweeping through an entire generation. His fans gather at memorials across the world, leaving letters, drawings, candles, vinyl records. They talk about how he helped them through depression, how his lyrics made them feel seen, how he encouraged vulnerability in a world that punishes it. Mac Miller left music, he left art, he left love, but he also left a warning that continues to save lives. A warning written not in lyrics, but in silence. The final 61 hours of Mac Miller show us something devastating, something simple, something painfully real. Sometimes tragedy doesn't arrive as a dramatic event, but as a sequence of small decisions made in familiar rooms. Messages sent in the middle of the night, deliveries that feel routine, people who should never have been there in the first place. In the end, it took only one counterfeit pill to take away a lifetime of music, dreams, and tomorrow. Mac Miller deserved more time. And that is what makes this story so heavy to tell. Thank you for staying until the end. If you want more stories told with respect, accuracy, and honesty, subscribe. I'll meet you in the next chapter.